and its creativity. And we thank you for each of the communities that make this borough their home. Father, we thank you for the resources and assets entrusted to this council, and we ask that you would help us to be faithful stewards, using them wisely, justly, and sustainably for the present and future generations. We pray for the flourishing of our communities. May this borough be a place of opportunity, safety, and hope. And to that end, we ask that you grant wisdom, integrity, and your help to all councillors and officers as they seek to make decisions for the common good, especially when they face difficult choices. This evening we remember those who find this evening hard, and we ask that they might find support and compassion through those who serve in this community. We ask this all in the Lord Jesus, name of the Lord Jesus, who came not to be served but to serve. Amen.
Please be seated. To the item. No? We will now take the vote. All those in favour, please indicate. Thank you. I think that was unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 3, Mayor's announcements. The mayoral team have attended 30 events since the mayor-making ceremony on May the 13th. These include a wonderful civic Sunday service at St Paul's Church, Ansell and Fairhaven, attended by 150 people. It was great. Other events have been a special schools musical festival, a 30th birthday celebration of Bryan House Hospice, visiting a healthcare day centre, and a Lancashire Mayor's visit to Queen Street Mill in Burnley with the High Sheriff of Lancashire. Opening, this is one of the highlights, opening either a paddle or a padel, depending on your pronunciation, tennis centre in St Anne's. Watching A Midsummer Night's Dream at Lytham Hall, a coffee morning which we held at the Town Hall, a memorable My Life in Flowers evening organised by the Mayoress of Fylde in this very council chamber, which, by the way, raised £761. The Armed Forces flag raising ceremony here at the Town Hall, a visit to Kilgrimmel Girl Guiding Centre, Fylde Food Bank morning we spent helping to process food deliveries, and the League of Friends of Clifton Hospital tour, visiting patients and staff with the volunteers. Lytham Club Day Parade and Rose Queen Festival and church service, Singleton Gala, Lancashire Music Services Gala Concert, Blackpool Sixth Form Student Awards Ceremony, AKS Prize Giving, Lytham Festival, Kirkham Singers, Duke of Lancaster's Regiment 20th Formation Anniversary in Preston, Ray Green Field Day, and latterly Royal Lancashire Show. You can see it has been a very active and busy but a wonderfully enjoyable and thrilling time. Future events include, very shortly, a summer wine and cheese evening, or as you might want to call it, a cheese and wine evening. On Thursday the 16th of July at the Town Hall, tickets are currently available, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. All proceeds, all our fundraising events, the proceeds go to Fylde Food Bank, Kilgrimmel Girl Guiding and the League of Friends of Clifton Hospital. 3 very worthy charities. Please support these events. Please support these charities. And can I, last of all, thank you, give thanks to Joe Collins and other officers, to my charities and their volunteers and the mayoral team for their support and assistance, and to the people of Fylde for affording us such a wonderfully warm welcome to their communities. And of course, to all those councillors here tonight that have attended any mayoral event so far, and I'm sure we will see many of you in the future. Thank you for your support as well. That concludes my mayoral announcements. Agenda item 4, Chief Executive's communications. So, Chief Executive, do you have any communications to report?
None this evening, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So we move to agenda item 5, questions from members of the public. There are no questions on this occasion. We go to agenda item 6, questions from a member of the council, which is page 4 in your report. One question has been received from a member of the council. Councillor Gardner, would you like to ask your question, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is, in recent weeks and months I have been asked several questions by residents and visitors alike about the state of St Anne's long-established water facilities. This includes the swimming baths, the paddling pool and most recently the boating lake. Have to say, I am struggling to reassure people that they have been adequately maintained. Could the leader reassure us that these have been adequately maintained and give us full details of the maintenance carried out in recent years and that they will be repaired and reopened before the end of the summer season? Thank you.
Councillor Nixon, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your question. I will answer it in two parts. First, the maintenance, and second, an update on each facility, with a particular focus on major improvements now underway. In terms of maintenance, the paddling pool, boating lake and St Anne's swimming pool are 3 very different facilities, built at different times and with very different structures. The paddling pool dates back to 1912 and the boating lake down to the 1930s, both long-established heritage assets. The issues we are now addressing relate to the original structures beneath the surface. Problems that only become visible when the facilities are emptied, cleaned and opened up for detailed inspection. Routine maintenance can address visible wear and tear, but cannot detect hidden structural deterioration underground or below the waterline. For this reason, it would be unreasonable to attribute the current structural faults to a lack of maintenance. Some issues cannot simply be identified until underlying layers are exposed. St Anne's swimming pool is different. It was built in 1986 with an expected operational life of around 30 years. It has already been operated for nearly 40 years and this is thanks to repairs, maintenance and investment. The appointment of Places Leisure has brought a fresh expert review of the building, ensuring that today's legal, technical and safety standards are fully met. This does not mean that the pool was previously unsafe. It means that the council is responding properly to new information and ensuring that any work now undertaken provides a safe, modern and lasting solution. Short-term repairs could continue, but they would risk repeat closures and rising costs. The more sensible approach, and the one we are taking, is to understand the full condition of the facility and carry out the correct work that provides long-term value. Turning to the current position, the paddling pool. Work is already underway to remove deteriorated upper layers. This will allow the original concrete base to be fully exposed and inspected. Initial findings suggest that the main base is stable. Once the remaining material is removed and the inspection completed, the final repair method will be confirmed. The aim is to install a new waterproof surface that provides a properly assured long-term solution. The boating lake has been emptied, desilted, cleared and professionally swept. Contractors have identified areas that from where the structure is now leaking and have carried out the necessary repairs. These are not complete yet. The lake is expected to be refilled with seawater during the next suitable high tide, which is in mid-July. St Anne's Pool. Intrusive inspections have identified matters requiring specialist technical, fire safety and insurance advice, and we are awaiting formal written reviews from these advisors. The urgency of this work has been made very clear, and a specialist contractor has already been identified so that any remedial work can be processed and proceed without any delay. This is not about delaying reopening, it's about ensuring that the correct legal, technical and insurance processes are followed so that the pool can reopen safely and with confidence. But crucially, St Anne's Pool is not simply being repaired short term, it has an exciting future in the medium term. Fylde Council has approved a record-breaking £9.3 million investment in swimming and leisure facilities across the Fylde, the largest leisure investment that this council's history has had. This historic package will see St Anne's Pool completely modernised, creating a high-quality, modern leisure destination for residents. The transformation will include a fully modernised pool, an environment designed for accessibility, sustainability and long-term community use. A brand new gym located on the first floor overlooking the sea and a modern studio for classes. Spa facilities, an exciting indoor splash pad and a welcoming cafe. And upgraded changing facilities. This investment reflects the council's determination to secure the future of swimming provision in the Fylde and deliver facilities that support health and well-being for years to come. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Gardner. Do you have a supplementary question? And if the answer is yes, I need to remind you that the questioner that the actual question must arise from the answer given that we've just heard. Councillor Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I do have a question. Several questions really, but obviously I know I'm only limited to one. Thank you very much for the detail regarding this swimming pool. If I can speak particularly with regards to this question, with regards to the paddling pool and the boating lake, it feels such a shame that we have got these two facilities out of action and under repair during the summer season. And I think these have been the questions that have been asked of me on occasions that's led to my main question tonight. Could the lead member have foreseen that this could have been foreseen and that this could have been avoided by taking earlier action before the summer season started. Thank you.
And that's your question.
That's my question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your answer is no. These are underlying issues underneath the substructure of these facilities, and without having a crystal ball or an engineer knowing that these things were going to go wrong, no, it's gone wrong, unfortunately, and at this time. All three facilities are priority assets, and the work is progressing on each of them. Reopening dates will be based on all the technical advice and the completion of all the necessary works. So as soon as reliable dates are known, then they'll be shared. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nixon. Hopefully that gives you an answer, Councillor Gardner, to your question. We need to move to agenda item 7 now, which is the Community Asset Transfer Policy, and I invite Councillor Buckley to propose this item.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I rise to propose the recommendations on page 6 of the agenda papers to approve and adopt the Community Asset Transfer Policy, which is appended to the report, and to approve an amendment to the Land Transaction Procedure Rules in order to accommodate that policy. And I think I would propose this agenda item to the Council as we have had interest from parish and town councils about community assets close to them and their neighbourhoods, of which they are interested in, which may be owned by Fylde Council at the moment, but parish and town councils have expressed an interest in a transfer over to them, which is a very sensible move and something that we would support in principle, hence bringing forward this policy to the Council this evening. The policy sets out the eligibility criteria, the assessment process. The decision would be for this Council to make, but it certainly facilitates those ongoing conversations and is something to be welcomed. So I move the recommendations, Mr. Mayor, and have a...
Nobody wants to speak, so we will now go to the vote. All those in favour of the proposal, please indicate. Unanimous. Thank you. Now we move on to agenda item 8, adjustment to committee allocations, and I invite Councillor Settle to propose this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Following the Kirkham by-election on the 21st of May and the election of Councillor Adam Brierley, there is a requirement to adjust the political balance in committees. As shown on page 16, paragraph 3 of your papers, it is therefore recommended that Councillor Brierley is appointed to the Audit and Governance Committee in place of Councillor Hayhurst, and Councillor Farrington to fill the vacancy on the Standards Committee. I propose that we accept these recommendations, and I have a seconder in Councillor Thelfall. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Settle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm privileged to second this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak on this item?
Councillor Collins,
Peter Collins. Councillor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to take the opportunity to welcome, I don't know if it's Adam Brierley or Brierley, yeah, to the council. He's no idea how upset Councillor Hayhurst is at losing his seat on the Audit and Governance Committee. Welcome to the council. Thank you.
And thank you for that contribution. Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak to this particular item? Thank you. Councillor Buckley.
Just on behalf of our group and the Council as a whole, to echo those sentiments and to welcome Councillor Adam Brierley to the Council Chamber, his first Council meeting this evening, and we really do look forward to working with him. Thank you.
So that's a welcome to you, Councillor Brierley. That completes that particular item, and we'll now take a vote in terms of the committee allocation. All those in favour, please indicate. All those against? Any abstentions? No. Thank you. And now agenda item 9, which regards the corporate plan 2024 to 2028. And I invite Councillor Buckley to propose this item.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we review our corporate plan 2024 to 28, a plan that has guided us through 2 years of delivery and will carry us to the momentous change ahead with local government reorganisation. The recommendations to note the achievements and approve the plan are made to full council from the Internal Affairs Scrutiny Committee, which met last week. The progress speaks for itself. 91% of our 52 actions have been completed or are well underway. Despite the pressures of local government reorganisation and major national infrastructure examinations, as well as workforce changes and recruitment challenges. As the report states, significant progress has been made even in the face of unforeseen challenges. And I do want to take this opportunity, Mr. Mayor, to commend our officers in their diligence and their hard work with the corporate plan. We have delivered regeneration in Kirkham and St Anne's, expanded temporary accommodation, improved our parks and play areas, strengthened community safety, supported volunteers and maintained high quality services with 93% customer satisfaction. That is a record for us to be proud of. But the next 21 months may be very different. Local government reorganisation is the biggest change since Fylde was created in 1974, Fylde Borough Council that is, and our revised corporate plan ensures 2 things: that we continue delivering excellent services right up to what is called vesting day, and that the voice and priorities of the Fylde community are fully represented in shaping the new unitary council. The plan keeps our major commitments on track, including the 9.3 million transformation of St Anne's Pool and the resurrection of Kirkham Baths, the largest leisure investment in Fylde's history. Both facilities will be a lasting legacy of this council and something of which we should be extremely proud. Tonight, I ask members to note our achievements and approve the revisions that will guide Fylde confidently through this transition, continuing to deliver, continuing to invest, and continuing to champion our community. I move the recommendations, Mr. Mayor, and have a seconder in Councillor Vince Settle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very happy to second these recommendations.
Does anyone wish to speak to this particular item? Councillor Griffiths.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm very sad to see that climate strategy is still in the red zone from June 2024. I do feel that we should have moved on with this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. Councillor Gardner, and then Councillor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I'd like to echo those sentiments too. I was involved in bringing this item to the Internal Affairs Scrutiny Committee back when I first started as a councillor on that committee, and to see it still in red and we haven't moved it forward. I understand that the area has faced issues with regards to big issues, LGR and the wind farm proposal, but I still don't feel that we should not have moved this item forward. Thank you.
Councillor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wasn't going to speak tonight. I don't wish to be political or change anything, but just looking through the corporate plan, the corporate plan sits above everything. It sits above the local plan, and so we should be mindful of what's in it when we're making decisions. And when you look at the corporate plan, there's an item in there to protect heritage assets. Now, there was a planning application. It was dealt with by the planning committee. I respect the planning committee's decision. Members on this side of the chamber voted for it, as well as members on that side. But to my mind, when we've got something like protecting heritage assets actually in the corporate plan, and it doesn't follow through into the local plan, and we see the demolition of part of a heritage asset, and also it's not just the loss of the built asset. When you've been involved in planning inquiries over a period of time, it's the actual setting of the heritage asset that's important. And that bit was going to be lost as well with the granting of that planning permission. I personally think it was a terrible planning decision, but I respect the committee's decision. But the committee and the chair and the vice chair of the planning committee should be mindful of the corporate plan, as well as the local plan, as well as the policies, but when the committee is making a decision. Also, it states we want Fylde to be a great place to visit and return to. There was another planning application where permission was granted for a business that's basically disrupted an existing business, an existing caravan site just 50 yards away. Now, when the owner of that came and the caravan site came and presented to the planning committee, he said it was an award-winning caravan site. I went away and I looked it up, and I think it was in 1922. It was voted by the AA as the best small caravan site in the country. Now that is a quality destination. And the planning committee, again, they made a decision, and I'm not challenging any decision of the planning committee. They made that decision, and the guy next door, there's noise at 6 o'clock in the morning, lorries turning, backing up, beeping. And now people who were returning to the Fylde, were returning year after year to that caravan site, they said they're not coming back. So we should be mindful of what's in the corporate plan and the local plan when the planning committee is making decisions. Now, I know we've got a new chair and a new vice chair. I personally think those were two awful decisions. We can't change them. I have to respect those decisions. But I would just like to remind everyone to actually look what's in the corporate plan, because we go to committees and there might be a new strategy, a new this, that and the other, and we tend to look at things in isolation. But things aren't in isolation. Things all come together at some point. We're talking about having a new economic development strategy. But we've got an existing one. It's 12 years old. And if you look at the existing one, it's before any of the wind farms were planning applications came forward, but they were being moved out of the IEC. And the economic development strategy talks about getting economic benefits for the Fylde, for the area. Well, as things stand, if they're passed, the electricity is going to come ashore, go to a substation, onto Penwitham and disappear. There's going to be very little economic benefit for the Fylde. But when you look what jobs there could be hundreds of jobs for 30 years ago, actually maintaining and servicing those wind farms that are out there. They're massive wind farms, they're massive operations. Now all those jobs will probably go to Barrow, because they already do that for existing Walney 2, for existing wind farms. So we're not getting any economic benefit. It is a policy that was made 10, 12 years ago and probably sat on the shelf, not really looked at, not anything done with. So if we have policies, if we have statements, if we have plans, we should respect what's in them, and let's have a little bit more joined up thinking in the time we have remaining as a council. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Collins.
No.
Councillor Harrison.
Mr Mayor, thank you very much. I could reassure Councillor Collins and other councillors that the Planning Committee and planning officers are very mindful of the corporate plan and will remain so going forward, and also of the local plan and neighbourhood plans and the wishes of all our local residents. As Councillor Collins knows, planning isn't always a black and white matter. There are nuances. Those nuances are considered with each individual item. I can assure him that that will go home, and I think the corporate plan as it stands supports that. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Harrison. Councillor Gaunt, I think, has indicated.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. So this has come through scrutiny, as has already been mentioned, and we did give it a really good, thorough review in that committee. One of the things that I think I should draw members' attention to tonight is the appendix starting on page 47 of the paper, which provided me with assurance that actually we have a really good range of strategic actions and outcomes that are shown in this agenda and are visible to members, and those have been formulated in collaboration with members and officers on a designated away day. I think you'll see across all areas, climate, commitments, economic activity, those are ambitious, but I do think we have to be realistic and say, yes, it's right that we give a real appraisal to the plan. We have had curveballs with LGR, which we haven't asked for, amongst other things as well. So I just think we should say that tonight, but also really commend the achievements to date. And yes, where things, the occasional item might be red rated or potentially amber rated, but there is a clear rationale provided for that. So I think it's very good progress, and I think the revisions are appropriate, so I support it.
Thank you very much. Are there... Councillor Dixon.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Just a couple of points there on some of the points that have been made there. Talking about the corporate plan and planning, the two do not go together. When we're in the planning business, you cannot turn something down because it clashes with your internal corporate plan. We have to look at national planning guidelines, unfortunately. Planning, I always say this is a horrible business. You spend 50% of the time saying yes to things you don't want and no to things you do want. So, you know, those things are at the forefront of our mind, but material considerations, a corporate plan is generally not considered a material consideration. So if we turn something down because it didn't go with our corporate plan, the inspector would not look at that favourably. So that's just a point I wanted to make on that. And the other thing was, you know, people mentioning there that not happy about sort of the environmental and stuff like that. We are led by government guidelines on these things. Whatever we do as a council now, whether we purchase vehicles, whether we purchase buildings, whether we purchase services, it's baked in by government that we reduce our emissions. In every single contract that you buy and sign through local government work these days, it's a part and parcel of that contract. So we are doing that work. It is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dixon. Are there any other members that wish to talk to this item? Otherwise, I'm going to go back to the proposer and give you the right of reply, or at this point. So, just want to establish there isn't anybody? No? Okay, so I go back to Councillor Buckley now.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Just to pick up the points that have been raised, and thank you to colleagues for their contributions. On the point about the climate strategy is well made by Councillor Dixon, and I would like to draw members' attention to the reports that come to committees, that come to full council, the report on the corporate plan itself. In the implications, it is listed what are the implications for sustainability, biodiversity and environmental impact. So it's not right to say that those are not in the forefront of our minds when we are adopting policies, looking at procurement, and as has been said. So I think that's important to point that out. Heritage is important. It is in the corporate plan. We recognise it. We treasure it. And it is also included in our local plan. And Councillor Collins may remember that recently a proposal to set up a heritage assets panel has been passed, just indicating how important it is that our view of heritage in this borough. So we do share that value. But that to say that he doesn't agree with the some of the decisions that have been made by the planning committee, we all know that planning is a matter of balance, and we know that each planning application that comes before the planning committee has to be determined on its merits. And time again, Councillor Collins tries to use one argument of one application and introduce it into another application, and has been reminded time and time again that each application must be determined on its merits. Just on the wind farm, and I again share concerns, and these have been highlighted to the Planning Inspectorate, to the Secretary of State, and an awful lot of work has been done by this council and other community groups and partners and parish councils who raise similar matters in regard to the application. But just a bit of a dose of reality here, I think, is needed, in that the decision made on the connection, to be a connection point at Penwitham, was made well before and by other people, to be determined by the government, and to try and unravel that whilst we do make every effort is extremely difficult. So I think there does need to be a dose of reality of the extent of our influence, which we will continue to use as much as possible before a decision is made. I think hopefully that addresses all of the points. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Buckley. So we're now going to move to the vote. The recommendations are clearly in the report. I won't go through those. All those in favour, please indicate. I think that's unanimous, unless I've missed any against. Thank you. Any abstentions? So 1 against and 1 abstention. Thank you. Thank you. Can we move on to agenda item 10, which is review of outside bodies and the proposed rationalisation? And I invite Councillor Settle to propose this item.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. The Community Focused Scrutiny Committee. Oh, are we all updating? It's doing an update, is it?
I was just going to say, I think we've all done that, so.
Just stop laughing a minute. The Community Focused Scrutiny Committee has reviewed the range of outside bodies for which the Council appoints members to represent its interests. Following that review, it has recommended that we cease participation in the outside bodies stated in paragraph 15 within page 53 of your papers, except that item in paragraph 8 of the item covering BE systems. In that this item should not be removed, i.e. that we continue a dialogue with the company. Councillor Throwfall represents us in that body and has emphasised that, as the borough's largest employer, it is crucial that we work with them, as is the case with our next largest, the Westinghouse Nuclear Reprocessing Facility. You will also see that the committee recommends a strengthened reporting facility for these bodies, as stated in paragraph 4 within page 52. I propose acceptance of these two recommendations with the change that for BE systems, that item remains in the outside bodies list, and I have a seconder in Councillor Michelle Morris. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Settle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to second this item and reserve my right to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak to this particular item? Apparently not. Okay, so thank you. So we will now move to the vote. Again, you've got the recommendations in front of you, and you've heard the proposer and a seconder. So all those in favour, please indicate. All those against. Any abstentions? I think that was unanimous. Thank you, members. Can we move now to agenda item 11, Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act, REPA. This comes back all the time, doesn't it? So we're familiar with this one. And I invite Councillor Settle to propose this item.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This item comes up for renewal each year and covers the policy that we have adopted and must adhere to in accordance with the Investigatory Powers Act, which covers use of covert surveillance activities performed by the Council, whether by human surveillance or electronic means, such as CCTV. I should mention at this point that, as far as I'm aware, we have not used any of these surveillance opportunities in the last year. We are not proposing changes to our policy, and I therefore propose acceptance of a further year's extension of our policy, and I have a seconder in Councillor Redfern. Thank you for the last time, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, councillors.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd happily second this item.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak to this item? I'm giving plenty of opportunity, so I'm not rushing these things. Apparently not again. So we can see the recommendations before us. Can we now move to the vote? All those in favour, please indicate. Anybody against? So members, I'm delighted to say that we now can conclude the meeting. I'd just like to thank you for your presence and your engagement tonight, and we'll see you again shortly. Thank you.